Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 45 of the Rock On Wild Show, where it's not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video. You can also like or dislike this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show and spread the word. Hit that share button. Go on all your social media platforms and tell everyone you know, from your family to your friends, your coworkers, to your acquaintances, about the Rock Out Wild Show. Tell everyone about the show and what it's all about. I like to talk about music. I like to talk about movies. I like to talk about film. Every now and then I'll throw in a bit of sports, but I also love wrestling. This is what you come to see here on a variety of the Rock Out Wild Show, where I hopefully have something for everybody. As you see from the title of this very episode, the main event will be my Halestorm songs ranked. I will be ranking my top 20 songs by Halestorm, and I'm going to rank all 6 of their studio albums from my least favorite to my most favorite. Also, I'm going to look at On This Day for November the 5th in sports, film, television, music, and wrestling. But to kick things off, I'm going to react to an old movie review of mine, a movie called The Imitation Game, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. So I'm going to start up the webcam and say hi to everyone watching this right now, wherever you are in the world. I am going to react to this movie review of mine, so let's get this going. Let's present, share screen, and let's go full screen. And let's react. In 3, 2, 1, action.
Well, as 2014 is coming to a close, and if this is the last movie that I'm going to see this year, all I have to say is, what a way to go out.
Yeah. I gotta say this again. I love that intro music.
Hey, what is up, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review channel. And right now, I'm going to talk about The Imitation Game, and this movie is about an English
The Intimidation Game? Write that one down.
mathematician by the name of Alan Turing who helped crack the Enigma code during the Second World War, and that stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Alan Turing, and I thought Benedict in this movie was absolutely incredible. This guy is a genius actor, to say the very least. He's this not likable guy. He's very rude. He doesn't work well with others. He doesn't like authority, but he's really smart. He's really genius. And I saw elements of the Social Network in this movie. He is the original Social Network if you want to talk about history and history making, because this is going on during like 60 years ago, and only this information is coming out now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And what I really like is that Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley in this movie, those two have great chemistry. Keira Knightley, who's named Joan Clark in this movie, was excellent in this movie. Another movie that I saw Keira Knightley in is Begin Again. She can never do no wrong when it comes to her performances in her movie. I also like Matthew Good. I really like his acting. This is the first time I actually seen Matthew Good in a really important role in
Matthew Good, not the singer, by the way, the actor. There's a difference.
the movie, and I thought he nailed it out of the ballpark. As well as Mark Strong. I feel like Mark Strong is a very underrated character actor who should get more recognition than he really doesn't get a lot, from what I've seen in my favorite movie reviewers. So I gotta give props to Mark Strong in this movie for pulling off a really good supporting character actor as well. So overall, this is one of those Academy Award winning, Oscar worthy type of acting performances in a movie that I've seen. One of the best stories that I've seen. So so far this year in 2014. Yeah,
Yeah.
2014 is coming to a close, but I gotta say, this is a good way to go out when it comes to movies this year. And I
Absolutely.
also like how the movie played the element of story in this movie, how this movie went back and forth. Sometimes it'll go to the future, then to the past again. It
Sure.
kind of did feel confusing, but I kind of get the gist of where this is going. And it's also one of those movies I like to see a lot more to it. This movie was almost 2 hours long. I would have liked to seen this movie go 3 hours long, and I would still have a lot of fun with this movie. I would have
3 hours? Are you nuts, man? Yet I am talking to myself.
liked to seen a lot more bio elements come in. I would have liked to see more of Alan Turing's childhood through adulthood to where he is now. I would have liked to seen a lot more of that. So with that being said, sometimes the bio elements did feel a little rushed, but at least they got the point across in this movie. And what's really important is that winning the Second World War, this guy was a major player during that time. And I gotta say, I did not know any of this information before this movie, and I really learned a lot from the Intimidation Game. This is one of those movies that I think everyone will
Intimidation.
enjoy. This movie should be for everyone, and I gotta say, the Intimidation Game is one of the best movies that I've seen this year. I'm giving this movie
Oh,
94.5 points out of 100. I would
Lord.
recommend this to anyone who likes to learn a lot of history and a lot of truth from the past. And if you saw this movie, what did you think about it? Feel free to comment in the comment section below and give me your thoughts about the Intimidation Game. And also, you can hit that
Oh my
subscribe
God.
button to get McRocked.
You know what's funny about this review is that I actually say the intimidation game instead of the imitation game. I mean, the two words are really, really close to each other, so I get why I had that write that one down moment type of thing. But yeah, 94.5 points out of 100. That's a good score. It's Benedict Cumberbatch. He's great. I really don't have much to say other than I probably could see this again. I could. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So if I happen to see it anywhere, I will flick it on. That's my reaction to my movie review for the Imitation Game, not the Intimidation Game. The Imitation Game. Intimidation, imitation. Oh my god, I'm so confused right now. Anyway, let's get on to some of the things that you get to see here on the Rock Out Wild Show. I'm going to take a look at on this day for November the 5th, and we're going to start with professional wrestling. So we're going to present, share screen, and let's go see what happened in the world of wrestling for November the 5th. As you see, here's a picture of The Rock versus Chris Jericho on a Raw WCW Championship match. A WCW title defended on Monday Night Raw. Who would have thunk it back in those days? Let's go. In 1994, on November the 5th, ECW presented November to Remember at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia. This is the event that saw the Invisible Man break Sabu's neck, which birthed the nickname The Crippler. The accident occurred just 2 minutes into the main event and stops the match. Too Cold Scorpio came to the ring and replaced as a replacement for Sabu, and he and the Invisible Man wrestled to a double countout. Elsewhere on the card, the Sandman turned heel when he revealed he was not actually blind and attacked Tommy Dreamer and was announced as the new client of Woman. In addition, the Public Enemy won their second ECW Tag Team Championship with a win over Mick Foley and Mickey Whipwreck. In the year 2000, when We Will Make It Up to You. In the first pay-per-view since their national TV deal with TNN ended, ECW presented November to Remember from Villa Park, Illinois. A mostly unremarkable card was headlined by a unique double Jeopardy match. And no, not the show Jeopardy. The bout was essentially a four-man tournament for the ECW World title, with both semifinals occurring in the same ring at the same time. That is weird, what the heck? With the final beginning as soon as the semifinal match finishes. In the two semifinals, Steve Corino defeated the Sandman and just incredible bested Jerry Lynn. This left Corino to defeat Credible and win the world title. In 2001, on Monday Night Raw, The Rock defeated Chris Jericho to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, as we saw in that picture earlier. In 2002, at a SmackDown taping in Manchester, New Hampshire, Edge and Rey Mysterio defeated Kurt Angle and the Invisible Man in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. In 2006, the first ever WWE Cyber Sunday took place in Cincinnati, Ohio. This event kept the same fan voting theme as its predecessor, Taboo Tuesday. In the main event, World Heavyweight Champion King Booker defeated WWE Champion John Cena and ECW Champion The Big Show in a triple threat match. The fans voted for Booker's title to be on the line. The finish came about when celebrity Kevin Federline hit Cena with the title belt. On the same card, Roddy Piper and Ric Flair defeated the Spirit Squad to win the World Tag Team Championships. This was Piper's first title in WWE since 1992 and only his second overall. In 2017, Impact Wrestling's Battle for Glory 2017 took place in Ottawa, Canada. The only title change on the card saw Gail Kim defeat Ali and defending champion Sienna to win the Knockouts title. Sami Callihan also made his Impact's debut. In 2018, at a Raw taping in Manchester, England, the Authors of Pain defeated Seth Rollins in a handicap match to win the Raw Tag Team titles. In the main event, Drew McIntyre defeated Kurt Angle by tap out with Angle's own ankle lock. Taste of his own medicine. We have some notable wrestling birthdays. On this day for November the 5th, we got Allison Kay, who was born in 1987, and former Sydney member Alexander Wolf, born on November the 5th, 1986. Those are all the things that happened for November the 5th in the world of professional wrestling. Now let's take a look on November the 5th, the biggest music headlines for on this day. On November the 5th, 1956, The Nat King Cole Show debuted on NBC TV. While the variety show was short-lived, it was a landmark achievement, marking one of the first shows of its kind to feature a black host. Sadly, it was also a stark reminder of the racism and segregation that pervaded America. Worried about upsetting customers in the South, national companies shied away from sponsoring the show. Eventually, despite support from NBC's and King's peers, including Tony Bennett, Ella Fitzgerald, and Mel Thorne, King chose to end the program, famously commenting that Madison Avenue is afraid of the dark. Are you afraid of the dark? Hi? Do you? Punk? Anyway, moving on. In 2005, guitarist Link Ray, who was credited with creating the distorted fuzz sound, passed away at the age of 76. In 1988, The Locomotion became the first song in the US to reach the top 5 in 3 different versions. First released by Little Eva in 1962, the Carole King Jerry Goffin tune was later released by Grand Funk Railroad, who scored a hit in 1974. 14 years later, Kylie Minogue hit number 3 with her energetic rendition. In 1994, Sheryl Crow entered the UK top 10 for the first time with her hit, All I Wanna Do Is Have Some Fun. I got the feeling I'm not the only one. She will later become the first American female artist to score 6 UK hits off one album, her debut Tuesday Night Music Club. Now, I promise I will not sing anymore, but I don't promise it. In 2003, one half of the Righteous Brothers, Bobby Hatfield, was found dead at the age of 63. Hatfield was sent to perform a show in Michigan that evening. That is unfortunate. In 1988, the Beach Boys topped the Billboard Hot 100 with their tropical hit Komodo. Komodo? Write that one down. It's Kokomo. Kokomo. Not Komodo. Kokomo. The song's popularity was boosted by its appearance in the blockbuster film Cocktail. In 1990, I was about to say 1996, but it's not. It's in 1966. The Monkees scored their first number one on the Billboard Hot 100 with Last Train to Clarksville. Is that where Clark Kent lives? No, wait, that's Smallville. We also have some birthdays in the world of music for November the 5th. We got Roy Rogers, born on this day in 1911. Art Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel, born on this day in 1941. In 1946, Grant Parsons was born. Peter New from Herman's Hermits was born in 1947. From Air Supply, David Moyes was born in 1957 on November the 5th. Got my first real Harley, born in 1959. Bryan Adams was born on November the 5th. In 1971, Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead was born in 1971. Leah Scott Lee from Stamps was born on this day in 1975. And in 1987, Kevin Jonas from the Jonas Brothers was born on this day as well. Those are all the events and news, well, not news, on this day I meant, for the world of music. Now let's take a look at what happened in the worlds of film and television for November the 5th. Let's take a look, shall we? In 1930, Third Academy Awards, All Quiet on the Western Front, George Erlas and Norma Shearer win. In 1953, first Cinescope technology film, How to Marry a Millionaire, directed by Jean Nugluso, starring Lauren Bacall, Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe, release is delayed to allow the Robe to debut the format. In 1953 also, Terence Rattigan's play The Sleeping Prince premieres in London, starring Vivian Leigh and Laurence Olivier. In 1956, The Nat King Cole Show debuts on NBC, the first variety program to be hosted by an African American. In 1958, Giancarlo Menotti's musical drama Maria Golovin opens at Martin Beck Theater in New York City, and it runs for 5 performances. In 1958, KGLD, now KSNG TV Channel 11 in Garden City, Kansas, first broadcasts. In 1965, Pere Le Faux, directed by Jean-Luc Godard, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo and Ana Cariana, is released. In 1985, CBS premieres Stone Pillow, a dramatic made-for-TV movie starring Lucille Ball as a homeless woman. In 1988, Kokomo, single by the Beach Boys from the Cocktail, goes to number 1. We just went over that not too long ago. In 1988, Komoko, single by the Beach Boys from the film Cocktail, tops the charts, the first hit in 20 years, and to date, their latest, Why That's on there twice, is outstanding. It's so good, it had to be on there twice. Awesome. In 1992, revival of George Kelly's 1924 play, The Show Off, starring Boyd Gaines and Pat Carroll, opens at Criterion Center Stage Right, New York City, and it runs for 45 performances. In 1997, French court orders producer Jacques Charrier, ex-husband of Brigitte Bardot, to play the former screen star $8,300 in damages. She is pretty, I might say. Very pretty. In 2018, BBC opens its largest news bureau outside the UK in Nairobi, Kenya, with 300 journalists. In 2019, actress Emma Watson, interviewed in Vogue magazine, says she is happy to be single. I call it being self-partnered, launching a worldwide discussion on the term. I mean, what's wrong with being single? Not a darn thing. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2022, 37th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo, Duran Duran, Eminem, Eurythmics, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Carly Simon, Judas Priest, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis, Harry Belafonte, Elizabeth Cotton, Alan Grubman, Jimmy Levine, and Sylvia Robertson. By no means is Eminem rock and roll, but if they called this the Music Hall of Fame, he would definitely be in there. Those are all the things that happened on this day in the world of music. And for the final installment for on this day for November the 5th, let's take a look at sports. And I know there's going to be a lot here. In 1886, British Opens men's golf, Musselburgh Links, David Brown beats fellow Scott Willie Campbell by 2 strokes. In 1887, Ottawa College defeats Montreal Football Club 10-5 to win the Dominion Championship. In 1927, PGA Championship men's golf, Cedar Crest defending champion Walter Hagen beats Joe Turnisa 1-up to win his 4th straight PGA title. In 1933, Chicago Bears 30-game unbeaten streak ends to Patriots 10-0. In 1940, former baseball player for the Washington Senators, Walter Johnson loses Maryland congressional race. In 1950, Cleveland Browns Tommy James intercepts 3 passes, club record. In 1954, Montreal Canadiens center Jean Beliveau scores 3 goals in 44 seconds on future Hall of Fame goaltender Terry Sawchuk in 42 win versus Boston Bruins, second fastest NHL hat trick. That is impressive, I must say. In 1957, Mrs. Nellie McGrail wins $574,658 on a 2.5-cent soccer pool tickets. In 1959, AFL announced with 8 teams. In 1961, NFL St. Louis Cardinals Bill Stacy returns 2 interceptions to TDs versus Dallas Cowboys. In 1966, BYU quarterback Virgil Carter sets a new NCAA single-game records with 513 passing yards and 599 yards of total offense in 53-33 win against Texas Western in Provo, Utah. In 1967, New Orleans Saints' first NFL victory beat Philadelphia Eagles 31-24. In 1968, MLB Detroit Tigers' Denny McLain, first AL pitcher to win MVP, winning unanimously. In 1971, NBA's LA Lakers starts a 33-game consecutive victory streak. In 1976, Baltimore Orioles' Jim Palmer wins AL Cy Young Award. In 1977, NCAA passing record sets a 571 yards, Mark Wilson and Brigham Young. In 1978, Oakland Raiders' John Madden becomes 13th coach to win 100 NFL games. In 1981, former NFL Miami Dolphins player Mercury Morris is sentenced to 20 years in prison for drug trafficking, conspiracy, and possession of cocaine. Reaches plea bargain while conviction was in appeal, serves only 3.5 years. In 1982, Cleveland Cavaliers lose 24th consecutive game NBA record. In 1983, New York Rangers and Quebec Nordiques, we're going way back, Bole scored first in 14 seconds of third period. In 1988, first NBA game at Bradley Center, Milwaukee Bucks lose to Atlanta Hawks 94 to 107. In 1988, also, first NBA game at Miami Arena, Miami Heat lose to LA Clippers 111 to 91. Also in 1988, first NBA game at Palace of Auburn Hills, Pistons beat Hornets 94 to 85. Also in 1988, Breeders' Cup horse racing, Churchill Downs wins Alashiba GT Communicator, Gulch, Is It True? Mystique Open Mind, Personnel Ixon. That is a mouthful right there. In 1988, Japan beats MLB All-Stars 2-1 in Tokyo, Game 1 of 7. In 1989, 19th New York City Women's Marathon won by Ingrid Kristiansen of Norway in 2:25:30. Also in 89, 20th New York City Marathon won by Juma Ikanga in 2:08:01. In 1989, French McLaren driver Alain Prost withdraws early in wet Australian Grand Prix in Adelaide. So, Grand Prix in Adelaide, but wins his third Formula One World Drivers' Championship, wins by 60 points from teammate Ayrton Senna. That is one weird word. Adelaide. Some of these words I really have to take note every now and then. Adelaide. In 1989, U.S. plays El Salvador in third round of 1990 World Soccer Cup. In 1992, American chess grandmaster Bobby Fischer defeats Russian Boris Spassky in an unofficial match in Belgrade, dubbed the revenge match of the 20th century. Fischer. In 1993, first NBA game in Alamodome, San Antonio Spurs beat Warriors 91 to 85. Alamodome. In 1994, Breeders' Cup horse racing, Churchill Downs, winners Baritha, Cherokee Run, Concern, Flanders, One Dreamer, Tikkanen, Timber Country. In 1994, also, George Foreman KOs Michael Moorer to win boxing heavyweight championship. And they made a grill out of that guy, George Foreman. In 1994, Tony Rominger bicycles world record for distance covered in 1 hour for a second time. 55.291 kms. In 1995, first NBA game at General Motors Place in Vancouver, Grizzlies beat Minnesota Timberwolves 100 to 98 in overtime. In 1996, Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter is the unanimous choice as AL Rookie of the Year. And the rest is history. In 2006, ICC Men's Cricket Championship Trophy, Bradbourne St. Mumbai, Australia beats West Indies by 8 wickets. Player of the series, Chris Gale, with a win of 474 runs and 8 wickets. In 2010, Breeders' Cup horse racing, Churchill Downs Day 1 winners, Aldefer, More Than Real, Dubai Majesty, Awesome Feather, Shared Account, and Unrivaled Bell. In 2011, Breeders' Cup horse racing, Churchill Downs Day 2 winners, Fleet Again, Rote, Amazambi, Wrigley Ready, Caleb's Posse, St. Nicholas, Abby Hansen, Core Vision, and Drosselmeyer. Drosselmeyer. That sounds like Oscar Mayer Wiener. In 2016, Breeders' Cup horse racing, Santa Ana Racetrack, Day 2 winners. Champagne Room, Queen's Trust, Drifong, obviously, Classic Empire, Highland Reel, Finest City, Tourist, Arrowgates. In 2017, French-American rock climber Brooke Roboto, not Robot, Roboto. Let's try this again. In 2017, French-American rock climber Brooke Roboto wins 3 medals. It sounds like Roboto. At the Pan American Youth Championship in Montreal, Canada. I am completely sorry if I butchered that last name. In 2017 New York City Marathon, Jeffrey Kamworor of Kenya wins men's racing to 10:53 in 3 seconds ahead of Wilson Kipsang, Shelling Flanagan, first American to win a women's race since 1977. In 2021, Breeders' Cup horse racing. Here we go with the horse racing again. What's with the horse racing? Oh my god. Anyway, day 1 winners. Twilight's gleaming, and the twilight's last gleaming. Echo Zulu, Pizza by... Why is that so... Jesus. I don't know why I just cracked myself up. It was the whole Twilight Gleaming part. Anyway, Pizza Bianca, Cornchy, and Modern Games. In 2021, NFL Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers admits in an interview he is unvaccinated and taking unapproved treatment after testing positive for COVID-19 and in isolation. Unfortunate news back then. We all know the history of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. It was not a good year. And Aaron Rodgers is a good example of it. Also in 2021, Rashid Khan becomes youngest bowler to take 400 T20 wickets during a match against New Zealand in Dubai. In 2022, MLB World Series, Houston Astros win second title in franchise history, beat Philadelphia Phillies 4-1. At Minute Maid Park, Houston for 4-2 series victory. MVP, Astros, Jeremy Pena. Dusty Baker becomes oldest manager to win championship. Phillies sets Ingonomus record, striking out 71 times. That's a big word right there. If I did not pronounce that correctly, let me know. Also in 2022, Washington Capitals left wing Alex Ovechkin scores 787th career goal, surpassing Gordie Howe of the Detroit Red Wings for all-time NHL record for most goals scored for a single team in 3-2 loss to Arizona Coyotes. And those are all the things that happen in the world of sports for on this day, November the 5th. And I do believe it is about that time for the main event of episode number 45 of the Rock Out Wild Show. Right now, I'm going to get a tab up and talk about the band called Halestorm. This band is fronted by Lizzie Hale, and Halestorm is one of my favorite bands of all time. They are an American rock band from Red Line, Pennsylvania. I just mentioned Lizzie Hale earlier. We got drummer R.J. Hale, guitarist Joe Hottinger, Joe Hottinger, and bassist Josh Smith. And Lizzie and R&J are siblings. They are brother and sister. They formed this band in the late 90s, 1997, and their first album came out in 2009. So there's a big time gap between when they formed and when their first studio album came out. And speaking of studio albums, I will be talking about them in just a little bit. But first, now I posted my top 20 favorite Halestorm songs back in March of this year, but before the new album Everest came out. So I'm going to rank my top 20 favorite Halestorm songs of all time. And I do have some few honorable mentions. We have Vicious, You Call Me a Bitch Like It's a Bad Thing, Psycho Crazy, Sick Individual, and Nothing to Do with Love, and I Get Off. Now we are getting into the top 20 of my favorite Halestorm songs of all time. Now keep in mind, nothing from their album Everest is on this list because I made this list before that release. So let's get right to it. My number 20 favorite Halestorm song of all time, Back from the Dead. This is a song that came out in 2022. And it's it's the title track off their album. It's a really good way to let the fans know that Halestorm is definitely indeed back from the dead. Coming in on number 19 on this list, Freak Like Me. Number 18, Raise Your Horns, which is a really good closer for the album Back from the Dead. Number 17, one of my favorite ballads by Halestorm, In Your Room. Number 16, another great ballad by Halestorm, Terrible Things. And number 15 on this list, Mayhem. That song is off their 2015 album called Into the Wildlife. Number 14 on this list, Can I Get an Amen? Another song from their album Into the Wildlife. And number 13, Mrs. Hyde. And number 12, Dear Daughter, a song that is a really good ballad as well. It's a song where you dedicate it to your daughter. Number 11, The Steeple. Now we have 10 songs left on my top 20 Halestorm songs of all time. And kicking it off at number 10, Love, Hate, Heartbreak. Number 9, Wicked Ways. And number 8, It's Not You. Number 7, Apocalyptic, which was one of the first songs I put in my very first top 10 back in March of 2015. And then number 6, I Miss the Misery. And we got only 5 left. Number 5, one of my favorite ballads by Halestorm, Break In. Number 4 is a song called Here's to Us, and it's a great like theme song, it's kind of like a rock anthem, so to speak. Number 3, one of the best rock songs, Love Bites, and So Do I. In fact, that was one of the first songs I've heard from Halestorm as well. My number 2 favorite Halestorm song of all time in the runner-up position is a song from their album Into the Wildlife, I Am the Fire. And my number 1 favorite Halestorm song of all time, it is Familiar Taste of Poison. Those are my top 20 favorite Halestorm songs of all time. Now let's get into my ranking of my favorite Halestorm albums from the least favorite to the most favorite. But in order for me to do this, I'm going to present, share screen, and let's look at their studio albums right here. So we have Halestorm, their self-titled album that came out in 2009. We have The Strange Case of, which came out in 2012. We have the one I mentioned a few minutes ago, Into the Wildlife, which came out 10 years ago. Vicious came out in 2018. Back from the Dead in 2022. And their new album, Everest. And I feel like I've listened to that album enough to do this list. And I gave it time to let it simmer. And I gave it plenty of listens. And I've listened to every single Halestorm album a lot of times. So How will I rank these from my least favorite to the most favorite? Well, let's get this started. My least favorite Halestorm album that comes in at number 6 is from 2018, Vicious. So let's take a look at the track listing for this record. We have Black Vultures, Skulls, Uncomfortable, Buzz, Do Not Disturb, Conflicted, Killing Ourselves to Live, Heart of Novocaine, Painkiller, and no, it's not a cover, White Dress, Vicious, and The Silence. And we have a couple of bonus tracks here, Nobody and Letters. We've got some vinyl edition bonus tracks, Now That You're Gone, Nobody, Golden, and Letters. And we got a couple of Japanese edition bonus tracks, Tokyo, and Love Bites, So Do I Live in Philly from 2015. Yeah, so this is my least favorite record by Halestorm. This is one I don't listen to as much as the other albums. It's not the most memorable album of the bunch, in my opinion. The only two standout songs that I like from this album are Vicious and Uncomfortable. In fact, I remember the WWE using the Halestorm song Vicious as a theme song for their Mae Young Classic way back in whatever year that came out, 2018, I think it was. So that is why, and it's 43 minutes in length. It's a good length of an album. No complaints there. It's just that this is not an album I would go back to listen to a lot. It's my least favorite album. That's why it's at number 6. Coming in at number 5 on this list from 2022, Back from the Dead. So let's take a look at the track listing here. We got the title track to kick things off, Wicked Ways, which is another great Halestorm song, Strange Girl, Bright Side, The Steeple, Terrible Things, My Redemption, Bombshell, I Come First, Psycho Crazy, and Raise Your Horns. Raise Your Horns is like the rock anthem on this record. It's one of the best songs on this album, as well as Terrible Things. It's a great ballad. I really like Wicked Ways and Back from the Dead. Those first 2 tracks are pretty good. Psycho Crazy is a decent song first, but those are the only ones that stand out to me. This is a much shorter album, which comes in at 37 minutes and 41 seconds. So it doesn't have that staying power as some of their early albums, I think. So that's why it comes in at number 5 on this list. My fourth, coming in at number 4 on this list, is the album that came out 10 years ago, Into the Wild Life from 2015. We have Scream, I Am the Fire, Sick Individual, which has a really, really good drum solo at the beginning of it. We have Amen, Dear Daughter, New Modern Love, Mayhem, Bad Girls World, which has a really, really good guitar solo at the end of it. Gonna Get Mine, The Reckoning, Apocalyptic, What Sober Couldn't Say, and I Like It Heavy. And we have some bonus tracks here, Jump the Gun and Unapologetic, which are really, really good. And Drunk Pretty from the Japanese edition bonus tracks album. So now we're getting into the good albums by Halestorm, and I think this is one that is very underrated. Sure, it doesn't have the quality of the first couple of albums from Halestorm, which I will talk about later on, but this still has some good heavy tracks here. I really, really like I Am the Fire. To me, that is the best song on this record. I really love Apocalyptic. I love Amen. Mayhem's a really, really good one. Most of the songs on this album I would go back and listen to them separately, and they all fit together nicely on one consecutive record once you listen to it from track 1 all the way to track 13. So I really, really like this album very, very much. So that's number 4 on this list. Coming in at number 3 is their very first album that came out in 2009, their self-titled album, Halestorm. We have songs like It's Not You, I Get Off, Bet You Wish You Had Me Back, Innocence, Familiar Taste of Poison, I'm Not an Angel, What Were You Expecting, Love, Hate, Heartbreak, Better Sorry Than Safe, Dirty Work, Nothing to Do with Love. Another album that comes in at 37 minutes, kind of like Back from the Dead. But with this album, this one has a lot of really, really good to great tracks. And it all flows very nicely once you listen to it from the very first track to the 11th track. We got a few bonus songs like Tell Me a Winner Where It Hurts, Conversation Over, and Dirty Mind. And we have some Japanese edition bonus tracks like I Get Off, live in Philly, Better Sorry Than Safe, live in Philly from 2010 as well. There's also a 10th anniversary edition with a lot of basement demos, which is pretty cool. I never heard any of these. I should definitely check those out. Interesting. I might have a look at some of them after I record this episode. I actually never heard of this 10th anniversary edition before, so this is new to me. But what is not new to me is this album, and I've been with this album for a very long time, well over a decade. I've been listening to Halestorm since 2013-ish, somewhere around there. And this was one of the albums that introduced me to Halestorm. As far as my favorite song off this album, it's Familiar Taste of Poison. It's Not You is a really good way to kick off the album as well. And Love, Hate, Heartbreak, to me, is another great standout on this record. That's why it's at number 3 on this list. I just love early Halestorm. So that is at number 3. Coming in the runner-up position at number 2 on this list, it is The Strange Case of. And you can pretty much know when you narrow it down what the number 1 album is. So let's go into the track listing here for The Strange Case of. We have Love Bites, my introduction to Halestorm. We got Mrs. Hyde, I Miss the Misery, Freak Like Me, Beautiful with You, In Your Room, Break In, Rock Show, Daughters of Darkness, You Call Me a Bitch Like It's a Bad Thing, American Boys, and the rock anthem Here's to Us. This comes in at almost 41 minutes in length, and it's a fantastic album. As far as my standouts on this record, I love Love Bites. In Your Room is really good. Freak Like Me is really good. I Miss the Misery and Mrs. Hyde. One thing I really like about this album, sometimes it's the little things. I like the transition from track 2 to track 3. They blend really, really well together. Really, all the songs on this album blend in nicely. There's not one that stands out like a sore thumb. Everything on this record is incredible, and I highly recommend this album to listen to. But my number 1 favorite Halestorm album currently, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with their new album, Everest. This is my number 1 favorite album by Halestorm. And it's a pretty good, it's really, really close. I almost went back and forth with The Strange Case of an Everest. But I think I love Everest a lot more. The big reason why I really, really love Everest is because this feels a lot more personal of a record when it comes to the lyrics and all that stuff. But this track listing and the way they all blend in nicely from track 1 to track 12 is really, really good. And the smooth transitions from every song when they come on is amazing. We have Fallen Star, Everest, Shiver, Like a Woman Can, Rain Your Blood on Me, Darkness Always Wins, Gather the Lambs, Watch Out, Broken Doll, Killing, I Gave You Everything, and How Will You Remember Me? How Will You Remember Me is kind of like their answer to their previous album, Here's to Us. The two go hand in hand, back and forth, and it's a really good way to close off that album. It is awesome. Written by Natalie Hemby. So it's not written by Halestorm the band, it's written by someone else, which is actually pretty cool. In fact, I just noticed something. The writers on here, none of them are from the band. I don't see Lizzie Hale or anyone that's familiar. That is strange. That is very strange. The album that doesn't have any of the band members writing is number 1. That just goes to show you. As far as standouts on this record, it's almost every single one of them. I got to start with Falling Star. That's a really good way to kick off this record. Then we get into the title track, Everest, which is a nice, good rock song and a theme song to really set things in motion for the other tracks as well. Darkness Always Wins is an incredible standout and a great ballad to balance those first 5 and the second half of this record. And the other standout that I have on this record is Rain Your Blood on Me. This song has some really cool off-time stuff going on and a lot of good drumming going on. Basically, Halestorm's Everest is a fantastic album. I highly recommend it. I encourage people to listen to this record. Really, I encourage everyone to listen to every single Halestorm song and every single record in some sort of order. Start with the first album and work your way to Everest. And of all the albums that Halestorm has come out so far, they have 6 studio albums, and my favorite one right now is Everest. I'm still riding that high. That is Everest. I'm still climbing that mountain. That is Everest. And that is my ranking of my favorite Halestorm songs and my favorite Halestorm albums as well. I'm going to leave you all with a quote to end this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. And it goes something like this. Embrace the beauty of aging, for it is a privilege denied to many. Each wrinkle tells a story of wisdom gained, each gray hair a badge of experience. As you grow older, remember to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Find joy in the simple moments. Cherish the memories you've created and continue to learn and grow. Let your inner light shine brightly, illuminating the path, no pun intended from Arch Enemy, for others to follow. Embrace the new chapter with grace and dignity. Know that you are a beacon of strength and resilience. Your journey is a testament to the beauty of a life well lived. This has been episode 45 of the Rock Out Wild Show, and I'm your host, Just Mike. On a final note, to all of you watching and listening to this all around the world, get plenty of rest and always do your best.